I still hear the sound sometimes. That low, wet thud of the shovel hitting something soft. Every night since it happened, I wake up sweating, convinced I can still smell the dirt on my hands. My name is Joseph. I'm 27, and until last year I worked at a small furniture factory on the edge of town. It wasn't a fancy job, but it paid enough for rent and food. The boss, everyone called him Mr. K, was the kind of man that made people nervous just by walking into the room. He didn't shout much. He didn't have to. He had this cold stare that made you feel like you owed him something. The factory itself was strange. Half of it was new and freshly painted, but the other half looked abandoned. No one was allowed near the back section. If you asked about it, he'd just say, "Old storage. Nothing for you there." There were 5 of us working under him. Me, Musa, Femi, Ada, and one older man named Tunde. We all kept to ourselves mostly. But something changed around the end of last October. That was when Mr. K started working late nights. He'd tell us to leave. Then we'd hear loud noises after hours. Heavy dragging sounds. Things breaking. The generator running even after midnight. One night, I forgot my phone charger in the workshop. When I came back to get it, I saw a light in the back section. The one we weren't supposed to enter. The door was open just a little, and I could see Mr. K and someone else inside. At first, I thought maybe it was a supplier. Then I saw what they were doing. They were lifting something wrapped in black plastic. It was human-sized. There was blood, or something dark, dripping from one end. Mr. K was whispering angrily, saying, "You made me do this. You made me do this." I froze. I didn't even breathe. Then he suddenly turned toward the door. I ran. The next morning, he acted like nothing happened. He even smiled at me, which was worse somehow. But later that day, he called me into his office. "Joseph," he said calmly, "I know you came back last night." My heart dropped. He leaned back in his chair, watching me. "I need you to help me with something after work. Think of it as loyalty." That night he drove me and Musa in his pickup truck behind the factory. He didn't say much, just handed us shovels. There was already a hole, wide and deep. He went back to the truck and dragged out that same black-wrapped bundle. I wanted to run, but Musa was standing there, shaking beside me, and I couldn't leave him. When we were done, he handed each of us an envelope with cash inside. Then he looked at me. "You didn't see anything?" he said. "And if you ever tell anyone, you'll be next." For weeks after that, I couldn't sleep. I stopped eating. I kept thinking about what, or who, we buried. Musa and I promised each other not to talk about it. But then, 2 weeks later, Musa didn't show up for work. Mr. K said he quit suddenly and left town. No one questioned it, but I knew better. I checked Musa's room, his clothes, his phone, even his shoes. Everything was still there. He hadn't gone anywhere. That night I went back to the factory. I told myself I'd dig up the spot just to see. It was stupid, I know, but I had to know. When I reached the back area, the ground looked disturbed again, like someone had dug there recently. I started digging anyway, hands shaking, flashlight between my teeth. After a few minutes, I hit something soft again. The plastic. I pulled it up a little, just enough to see what was inside. It wasn't what I expected. It was Musa. His eyes were open, his mouth filled with dirt. His hands were tied. I dropped the shovel and ran until I couldn't feel my legs. When I got home, I called the police. Or at least I tried. But when they arrived, the place was spotless. No hole, no signs of digging. Even the ground looked newly leveled. And Mr. K? He was standing there smiling, offering the officers tea. They found nothing. They even laughed at me, told me I was overworked and paranoid. The next day, I got a message on my phone. No name, just a number. It said, "You shouldn't have called them. You still owe me one more night's work." I packed my things and left town that same day. I've been in hiding ever since. But sometimes, I still get strange calls from unknown numbers, just breathing on the other end. And last week, a package came in the mail. No return address. Inside was a small shovel and a note. "You forgot this. You forgot this. You forgot this. You forgot this."